Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. While we got rhubarb season and a few rhubarb left in our garden, I am going to do a rhubarb recipe. And today I'm going to make a rhubarb cinnamon cake. I got some rhubarb here that I picked from my mom's garden. Mine is just still a little tiny, and I'm going to cut up some of that and get started on this cake. So if it interests you, stick around and let's get started.
Bonita's kitchen to yours. Bonita's kitchen. It's kitchen to yours.
So right here, I got myself a nice batch of strawberry rhubarb. My dad planted these years ago, and of course, I seem to go to his garden every year to get them. So I do have a batch of these myself. I want to cut this in smaller pieces, so I'm just showing you here now. We're just going to have little pieces like this, or small little chunks, let's say. And I planted this rhubarb years ago in our garden, and I've moved it 5 times, but I think this year it's starting, Raymond, to look a little more promising. We need about 2 cups of this fresh or frozen rhubarb. I still got a ton of frozen rhubarb, and about this big is good enough, and you can have it smaller if you don't like to see the chunks of rhubarb in your recipe. So I'm just going to cut up here now 2 cups of this, and then I'll tell you what to do next. So I'm just eyeballing this here now, so this looks about 2 cups to me, and it doesn't matter if it's a little bit more. I'm just saying 2 cups because that's pretty much all you would need if that's all you got. So now what I'm going to do is take you over to my mixer and let's start mixing up this cake. I got a half a cup of butter or margarine, whatever you got available, and a half a cup of granulated white sugar, but you can also use a sugar of choice. I'm going to whisk this around till it creams a little. So after that's creamed a little, I'm going to be tossing in there 2 eggs. We'll do 1 at a time. Toss it in. And so now this is egg number 2. So we're going to turn it on again. So now all I'm doing here now is tossing in 1 teaspoonful of vanilla. And we'll just whisk that through. So now what we're going to be doing is putting in there 2 cups of sifted flour. We'll be putting in 1 teaspoonful of baking soda. And I got a teaspoonful of baking powder. So that's baking soda, baking powder, and half a teaspoonful of sea salt. And then what I'm going to do is put this in my sifter, and I'm going to be sifting a portion of the dry ingredients and then scooping in there a portion of some yogurt, about a cup of yogurt, or you could use sour cream as well. So we're going to be doing this in portions, like I was saying, just a part of the dry ingredients and a part of the sour cream or yogurt. I'm using a plain yogurt here today, but you got the option to use either one of them. I'm going to put this back on, and then we'll start to cream it all together again. Okay, so that's a portion there, and I mean, this is a delicious cake, and this batter here today needs to be nice and creamy, so we're going to sift in some more of that flour. Of course, my sifter is a little stuck here today, so it's being a little hard to deal with, but that's okay. I'm going to toss in here now the rest of that. I'm using yogurt, like I was saying, but you could use sour cream as well, so I'm going to toss the rest of that in and sift in the rest of that flour. So I'm going to let this mix around one more time, and then we'll add in there the cup of our rhubarb, and we're going to be using about a half a cup of crushed walnuts. All right, then that looks good. So now what we need to do, so I got a cup of the rhubarb there, and I got a cup taken off here for the top. So we're going to put about a tablespoonful of flour over the rhubarb because I just want to coat it first before I put it into the mixer. So when it starts to cook, it's not going to all fall to the bottom of that cake. And I'm going to toss it in here to the bowl. So I'm just going to toss the remainder of that there and the nuts in. And I got them crushed, but you can leave it a little bit chunky if you want to. It's not necessarily need to make it really small. And I'm going to put it in now and whisk it around one more time. And that's all I need to do there. So I'm just going to take this delicious batter now off my mixer and we'll get that put into a spring release pan and I'll show you that. So I'm using a 9-inch spring release pan. So what I'm going to do is put the bottom portion down and I'm going to put in there a piece of parchment paper just to line the bottom like this, and just make sure that your lid is in because sometimes with these spring release pans it don't always catch. So, and you'll find that your cake will be in your oven and you don't want that. I'm just going to give it a light greasing here. Even though it's a parchment paper and it probably won't stick to that, I just want a little bit around the sides. And that's all I need to do there. So again, this is the delicious batter. We're going to toss that now into our spring release pan. So now once you get all that batter scooped in there, just spread it out to the ends of your pan. So now what we're going to make is this beautiful top to go on it, and it's a strudel mixture, and it consists of brown sugar, butter, walnuts, flour, and we're going to be using a big old heaping of that cinnamon. So I'm going to show you that.
You're going to be using the full kit and caboodle.
Raymond, this cake is too good to eat.
That's what we'll have to call the cake. I'll call it a kit and caboodle cake.
So now first off, what I'm going to do, I'll move this spatula first, I'll get the rest of that after. I'm going to be sprinkling about a cup of that rhubarb over the top of that batter. And over here in the bowl, I'm going to be putting in about a quarter a cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. I got a tablespoonful and a little bit more of cinnamon in there. And we're going to be mixing this together first. So now you can do this with your wooden spoon or again in your mixer. It's just to make it crumble. And I was going to say crumbly. I guess that's
Spell crumbly.
I guess that'll be sufficient to say, hey, Raven.
Yeah.
I'm going to break up here a 1/4 cup of butter. I'm going to use my hand on this one and just pinch this in like this to make it, like I was just saying, crumble or crumbly. And we'll leave Raymond to his spelling test after. We'll work on that. And now after we put that in there, and you can see it in there, and the texture is like this. Toss in there about, I'm going to say anywhere from a 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of walnuts again, and you don't need it all the ways crushed because I like it chunky on top. So, and that way you could taste it when you bite into this cake. So that's all you need to do there. Now all that's left to do is to sprinkle all of this delicious mixture into the pan. And what we're going to do is spread it out to the sides. And now I'm going to tell you how long you need to bake it for. So now what I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to pop this one in the middle rack in the center. And if you think that the pan is going to drip any of the batter, put a cookie sheet or a pan on the bottom of that, or even a piece of foil, that's fine. put it in there for anywhere for 60 minutes or until toothpick clean. So I'm going to pop mine in there and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's baked. Our rhubarb cinnamon cake is baked. Come in a little closer and I'll show you what it looks like. So now this is it, as good as it gets. We got this bun pan now that I'm going to spring release here. You could let it sit for just a few minutes when you take it out of the oven. But pretty much the glory of this is to be able to pop this out without having any trouble. And I did put a pizza pan in under my cake so it wouldn't drip, even though I had this parchment paper there to be on the safe side. Now just look at this, eh Raymond?
Oh yeah,
smells
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut a piece now and I'm gonna have a taste. Yum. Now I'm excited to cut this cake here now and show you what it's like. Oh my gosh, I just took a walnut off the top because it fell. Guilty.
The cheating game.
Guilty. And I didn't even give it to Raymond. I just had to taste it. That's cinnamon. Walnuts. Oh my gosh. Just look. Come in a little closer and I'm going to show you. Now can you see yourself just making one of these today? Just
I
look.
can.
You can. You're waiting.
Well,
Raymond.
okay, yeah.
A
I'll
little
let
bit.
you make it. I'll just.
You're always a little bit patient, for sure. I'm going to put one there for me to have a taste, Raymond. You certainly have another little taste after. And I'm going to pour up a cup of tea. Oh my gosh. You know, this cake deserves a pot of steeped tea. And I only got a little one steeped there, but I'm going to have a little sip of it. A taste of this cake. Oh my gosh. So exciting. Oh my gosh, this cake brings back so many memories for me because years ago, my friend, when we lived in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, she would make one of these every time we went to visit. And I just couldn't get enough of it. So I'm glad I'm sharing it with you here today. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. The taste of the rhubarb, the bitterness of the rhubarb, I should say. Sourness, is the word that's probably better used. And the sweetness of the topping. Oh my gosh. The cinnamon just bursts in your mouth. Rhubarb is another one of my favorite fruit. And I can't wait for you to make this dessert.
You know, I just came up with, you said, oh my gosh, oh my goody.
Oh yeah.
You can write a song for Bonita's Kitchen. Two thumbs up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and oh my goody. So good. Bitterness, sourness. I just love it. That rhubarb brings me back to my childhood. Wow. I'm going to leave Raymond to making that song, writing another song for us. You go for it. I can't wait for you to make this cake. So I'm going to leave the recipe in under this video. Also, you can visit us on our Facebook page, on our website, www.bonitaskitchen.com, or send us a message at bonitakitchen@gmail.com.
How did this sound? Oh my gosh, oh my goody, from Bonita's Kitchen, and it's good for the tummy. See, I tell you, I'm not just a man behind the camera.
He'll keep working on that song, and hopefully you'll get to hear it. Oh my, we can chuckle at this all day. And you know, Raymond is silly, and again, he can't wait to get at this cake. I think he's a little bit hungry right now as well, but that's okay. We can't wait for you to make again this cake and any of our recipes to date. We're going to thank each and every one of you for stopping by here today, and I hope this rhubarb recipe appeals to you and you can't wait to make it. Hopefully you've still got some rhubarb in your garden. On behalf of myself, Raymond, and our team, and from our kitchen to yours,
you have a wonderful day.
So if this recipe interests you and you can't wait to make one, make the wait one.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door.
Toodaloo.
Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen.
And don't forget to join us again on Bonita's Kitchen.